What's up, everyone? Hope you guys are all having a good day. VHU here, here to answer a question that a lot of people have been asking me. So a couple of days ago, I released the video Fallout 3 versus Fallout New Vegas, and it did get a lot of tremendous support, and a lot of comments. A lot of people were commenting on the video, talking about things they'd like to see in Fallout 4, and a lot of people were actually inboxing me, asking me the things I'd like to see, and it's been suggested that I make a brief video and talk about the things that I would want to see. So that's pretty much the purpose of this video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this up. I'm going to talk about things that I think would be vital for the game to make the game much, much better. And then I'm going to give my opinion on some changes or additions that can be made. That would just be minor tweaks. That'd be really cool if they added, but they're not necessarily important. And also just be forewarned, these are not in any particular order. I just kind of came up with a list of things on my own and compared it with some other people's lists. So one of the first changes I'd like to see made is the environment. Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas had a very good night and day system, but I think they should be adding other elements as well, like maybe more of a realistic climate with things like wind and rain, heat, so you can have a drought, lots of rain, maybe even flooding. Flooding would be a bit extreme, but I think different weather elements would be great. Having said that, I think it'd be really cool too if the land was more diverse. I understand the land would have to be a lot bigger in order for that to take place. But I mean, it'd be cool to have things like mountains and swamps, not just a wasteland or desert, maybe some forested areas, some snowy areas, things like that, just to kind of create change and make you really want to go around and see what the map has to offer. Well, I was a big fan of Fallout's leveling system. I am more of a fan of the system in like Oblivion and Skyrim. If I think if as you do things, you should get better at using them, as opposed to getting so many skill points when you level up. So like using guns, different guns, big guns, small guns, the electronic guns and stuff. I think if as you use them, you should get better. Same with bartering and all the other skills. I think you should get better with them over time, as opposed to when you level up, you get 15 points to spread around. I think that's more of a realistic way of doing it. You get better at things by doing them, not just by leveling yourself up. Overall, I think the karma system in both games was great. If I had to change it, I'd only make it so that it's only affected when you're seen doing it, whether it's good or bad. It's kind of annoying when you're sneaking into people's houses and nobody's there, nobody sees you take it, but your karma goes down for taking something, or goes up for doing something when nobody sees you do it. I think that if you're not seen doing it, nobody should know you've done it, and so you shouldn't, your karma shouldn't be affected. Also with the karma system, I think that they should make it a little bit more realistic and a little more, depending on the task, it's more sensitive to how much it's affected. In Fallout 3, you could nuke Megaton and your karma would drop lower than hell. It would bring it as low as it could possibly go. And if you keep bringing fresh water to the bum outside of where Megaton was, you can actually keep giving him water and your karma goes way back up. So, and it doesn't take a long time. So I think that they should make some changes and make it so that if you destroy a big city like that and you just give a guy water, maybe it only affects it a tiny, 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 tiny bit. So you'll never see a change. So in terms of weapons in the game, Fallout New Vegas did a great job of incorporating more weapons and also the mods in the attachment system. I'd like to see more mods and attachments for different guns, and also the ability to find weapons that have some mods and some attachments on them. You could add them, you have to purchase the mods or the attachments and attach them yourself, but I think that if you're going to run into other groups, that chances are a lot of them should have attachments on their weapons as well, so you should be able to find a gun with a red dot sight or a different sight or different grip or something like that. I'd also be open to the idea of dual wielding guns or different melee. Guns would obviously be more effective. I think it'd be harder to aim. It's pretty hard to aim in the game without using iron sights, but I think that dual wielding would be pretty cool. It'd be something that not everyone has to use or do. It could be something that if you want to do it, you can do it, otherwise you don't have to. So Fallout New Vegas did a great job of allowing more gear to be worn, such as glasses and hats and stuff that did affect the stats of the character. I think there should be more customization of the gear, so you should be able to get things like gloves, belts, and boots. And other than that, I think you should be able to customize the gear, maybe add different designs to them, or different colors, just to kind of make things more personable. So in terms of some of the random stuff I'd like to see in the game, these ones aren't totally as important, but they are things that I would really like to see, or I think that would be really cool. I think one of the things you should be able to do is you should be able to find jobs. Be things like a watchman for your town, be a mercenary, maybe even a courier. or even being things like an assassin or bounty hunter for a leader of a town or whatever. I think these would be really cool additions and add much more hours of gameplay. So you could do things like giving money, cash rewards for them. I don't know if you'd want to do something like a bounty board system or direct, interact directly with somebody. But I think that kind of system would be cool. So you get some money to start. Maybe after a while you get more money, or you get more items and stuff like that. The next thing I'm going to talk about here is a thing that there's actually already a mod for, but I think that you should be able to start up a town and build structures, create basically your own republic, so you can customize your own flag and stuff like that. There's already a mod, the real-time settler mod, or at least you should be able to find a deserted town. That both games, and I'm sure Fallout 4 is going to have deserted towns. You should be able to purchase the town or find a way to acquire the town and pay money to upgrade it. I think that'd be a really cool addition. Again, that'd add hours and hours of gameplay, and the game would be a lot more personable in that way. Having said that, I also think it'd be really cool that if you start your own town and you become your own faction, it'd be really cool if you could recruit people or convince people to join you, so you have your own little city full of people. And based on your decisions you made throughout the game, if you're geared towards one faction or your own faction, and you get another faction obviously to hate you, maybe there could be some sort of a war between the two factions. I understand this would create a lot of frame rate issues in most cases, but I think it'd be a really cool addition to add. I think a great addition would be to have more random loot. The problem with Fallout 3 in New Vegas is once you've already played through it, when you play through it a second time, you know exactly where to go to find all the loot you need. Even the random things, like the small things like, the ammo and stuff, if it's there in one game, when you play a second playthrough, it's going to be there. They should make things a little bit more random. I don't think they should do random buildings and caves and stuff unless it's something that's not quest involved. But yeah, and I think that they should also try and find a way to make it more difficult to make money in the game. New Vegas made it too easy. If you bought a room, like if you got the hotel room or whatever, and you got chests in the room, you could store unlimited items. So you could just loot, and fast travel to there and just store everything. So you could potentially store hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stuff. So I think they got to find a way to make it so that maybe the chest can only hold so much stuff, or something like that. Speaking of fast travel, I'm hearing a lot of people in the different channels that I go to and the different videos I watch. A lot of people seem to be commenting on the fact that they'd like to see some vehicles in the game. I'm really not too sure how I would feel about vehicles getting put into the game. I mean, I guess I kind of understand it, especially with it being so much later in the future. You would think that there would be cars. I mean, I've yet to see a driving car or vehicle in any Fallout game I played. But at the same time, I think that if they're going to put vehicles in, the maps have to be a lot more bigger. Because really the distances aren't that far anyway. And really I think with such an open, barren, wasteland type environment, which they tend to go for in these games, I think having a vehicle, and obviously you would have to be able to go off the roads, because a lot of places you can't get to by road. I think you're just presenting the opportunity for more bugs and glitches. So I think that while on one hand it would be cool, I think on another hand I'd rather just stick to foot traveling and fast travel. I think there needs to be some tweaks to the AI, which stands for artificial intelligence, if you don't know. I think that there's a problem in the game where the fact is that you can be a mile away and you can be spotted by an enemy and their aim seems to be absolutely perfect. So I think they kind of need to make some changes, maybe implement some sort of stealth where you're actually able to be somewhat sneaky. I know that they do have a sneak feature, but it's still stupid that they can spot you from so far away and their aim is so good. It'd also be pretty cool if they added some better positioning, like if you can maybe take cover. That's hard to do with a dominantly first-person shooter, so if they can't do a cover system, that's cool, but I think going prone would be better, would be great, but only, again, if they're able to enhance the AI. I think it'd be pretty cool if you could do different things, such as, play a different race. So before you actually start the new game, you have to select a class, as a ghoul or a human or any of the races that are in the game, and you have a story to follow based on that, and they're all intertwined, so it's all following the same story just from a different perspective. I think that'd be a really cool feature, but it'd also be pretty tough, I think, too, because how do you do a story about ghouls? Like, I really don't know, but I mean, if they could do something like that, I think that'd be really awesome. Obviously would increase gameplay, the replay value of the game. People are going to want to go back and try playing it as different races. So some of the final random things I'd like to see in the game, I think it'd be cool to see some sort of a destructible environment. I think that'd be really great. I don't think it has to be to a point where you're able to level buildings, but I think some sort of destruction would be cool. I know some other things too. I'd like to make it so that only some enemies come out only at night and some come out at day. Like maybe the ghouls only come out at night, or different things like that. It's different creatures that are only able to come out at night and some come out at day. I mean, that's how it is in real life. If they're going for more of a realistic approach, I think that has to be something that's implemented into the game. I also wouldn't mind seeing things such as like scrap metal. You can get scrap metal in the game, but I think you should be able to use material like scrap metal to fix weapons. Those of you who don't play the game or haven't really noticed that if you want to repair a 9mm pistol, you basically need another 9mm pistol, and you kind of use the parts from one to help repair the other. But I think that you should be able to use scrap metal to help fix those weapons as well. I mean, it only makes sense. And the last really minor thing here I'd like to see is maybe more animals. They don't incorporate many, actually I don't think any animals to kill and even eat. Like in hardcore mode, you should be able to randomly encounter random animals like cows, pigs, birds, whatever. Kill them and eat them. I think that's the way it should be done. I find it hard to believe that hundreds and millions of species have all been wiped out. So I think that's something that they really need to try and implement into in any way they can. Also, some underwater stuff should be cool. You can go underwater swimming, underwater for loot, exploration. Maybe you have to go to some secret underground, whatever, for for quests. Submarines, like being able to go underwater and explore ruined shipwrecks and stuff like that. I don't know if that last part is vital, but I think it'd be really cool if they had some sort of underwater system. So I've gone pretty much over everything I'd like to see in the game, but I do have two major ones that I would really like to see added. First one, sprinting. In Fallout New Vegas, you could press the Q button on a keyboard. I don't know about the other consoles, but if you press it, you'll continually walk, so you can kind of walk away and take a piss or whatever you got to do. But there's still no way to walk fast. Now, Skyrim came out with a sprint system, and it worked great. You can kind of run from point A to B faster. You had an energy level that lowered, but I mean, I'd be okay with that if that's what it took. But I think being able to run faster should be, or I mean, even if like maybe the more weight you're carrying, the slower you run, and the less you're carrying, the faster you run. I think that would be a great addition to the game. And the last and by far the most important thing on the list, Bethesda, please, 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 please release a stable game. Fallout 3 came out and still has its bugs. It's got a lot of bugs, especially on PC. Any of my fellow Windows 7 users will be able to attest to that. Fallout New Vegas definitely was not without its glitches, but they were mostly cleared up when the Ultimate Edition came out. There is still the odd bug, but it's not as bad as Fallout 3. Skyrim has a ton of bugs as well. Again, not as bad. But, of course, there was the huge bug when you got to a higher level in the game. Things kind of lagged like crazy. Oblivion, I don't really recall there being much bugs, but I'm sure there was. Oblivion wasn't a game I put a ton of hours into. I was too busy into the Fallout games. But, yeah, I would love to see them release a stable game. I mean, I know it's hard to do with a free world system. You have a lot of freedom, so a lot of chances to get yourself stuck or into some kind of position that is not good. But, I mean, the games are just too buggy when they come out, and I think that they need to work on finding a way to make it so it's not so buggy. I don't know if they have a shitty testing department, but finding a way to improve it on release would be very, very vital. So there you have it, guys. There's just a few of the things that I thought would be great to add into the game, or changes to be made into the game. Of course, if you have any opinions or anything you'd like to add, or anything you disagree with, I'd love to hear it. I read all the comments and I reply to everything. So just leave a comment below and let me know what you think, and I'll be happy to reply to you as long as I feel that it warrants a reply. Again, this channel wasn't created just for me. I created it to have some interactivity as a community. I feel like the Fallout games it's a community that's slowly dying because of the long wait for Fallout 4 and just other games coming out and stuff like that. So anything you guys have that you want to say, I'd love to hear it, so just leave it below. Other than that, guys, I don't have a whole lot left to say. I'd appreciate it if you left a like, and if you're new to the channel, check out some of my other videos, and definitely subscribe. If it's a game you're into, you can't go wrong. It's going to have lots of content. Other than that, guys, though, don't have a whole lot more left to say. VHU, Ball Hunters Union, please join. Josh signing off. Peace, guys.